Welcome to WrestlingTruth.com. They're your source for an online interactive wrestling community, providing the truth behind the dirt sheets and rumors. It's WrestlingTruth.com, revealing the truth behind the headlines.
Hello everybody, and it is of course time for everybody's favourite spin-off show, Liam's, say it with me now, Liam's Video Game Corner. None of you said it, I bet none of you said it. Roll the fucking opening. That's probably the cheesiest opening ever, but never mind. Anyway, of course we're here because there's been some slightly more news that has been released. In fact, actually, this news was released on the day that I uploaded episode 3. And so, obviously, by the time episode 3 was online, I couldn't really take it down and be like, yeah, there's more news. So I waited until this episode. It's really nothing too major. What it is that they've released the final roster for WWE All-Stars. So they've released, all the names have been confirmed, and you know, who's ever left out is left out. They're not in the game, full stop. So I'll just quickly run through them. Most of these guys you will know. I have announced some of them. I am announcing the entire roster right now, because I can't remember if I've announced them or not. You might remember from some of the past episodes that I did announce them. I can't remember off the top of my head if I did or not. Sorry if I apologise if this is the third time or whatever I'm announcing this person to be in the game. I just genuinely have a shit memory, to be honest. So, here we go. I've split them up into 3 categories. We have the Legends, the Superstars, and the downloadable content. First we'll go through the Legends. In no specific order, we have Jimmy Snuka, Mr. Perfect, Ricky Steamboat, Shawn Michaels, Steve Austin, The Rock, Ultimate Warrior, Andre the Giant, Bret Hart, Eddie Guerrero, Hulk Hogan, Jake Roberts, Randy Savage, Roddy Piper, and Sergeant Slaughter. That is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 legends. Really? None of them are really that surprising. Actually, I've got to be honest, the roster, the Legend roster, is actually better than the Legend roster from Legends of WrestleMania. But then again, Legends of WrestleMania was purely a Legend game, whereas this is a Legend and Superstar game. There's no one here that I'm really... The only person here that I'm actually really excited about being in the game is Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero hasn't been playable in the game since SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. Unless, of course, you're counting the PSP version of SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, where he was an exclusive character to that console. But we just go on by the main, you know, the main generation, which was at the time, technically at the time, it was the Xbox 360. So we'll go on that, and Eddie wasn't in there. He was in SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 as a playable legend, and then the year before he was in SmackDown 06. As a main character, and that, of course, as everyone knows, was the year that Eddie died, and he was in a very controversial, in-game, he was in a very controversial storyline against The Undertaker, where he actually gets put in a coffin. It was a bit random. Well, not random, but just awkward in general, just thinking, fuck, he's actually in a coffin. Sorry, that's not meant to be taken as a joke or anything. I'm just saying, I'm genuinely, I am honestly a fan of Eddie Guerrero's work, and I'm excited to see him back in the video game world, and to be able to play as him and then beat the shit out of some of the current superstars that unfortunately have come in after Eddie Guerrero's departure, or debuted in the series of SmackDown after Eddie's departure. So that's all good. Another thing I want to talk about very quickly is Shawn Michaels' attire in Legends. Now, it's been announced that everybody in the game will have at least one alternate attire. But Shawn Michaels' first, and I call it the default attire, is his 2009 DX look. I just found this very interesting because this is the look he had towards the end of his career, and it's also the look he had in SmackDown vs Raw 2011. I just think it's very, very strange that they've chosen to go with the older, at the end of his career, Shawn Michaels, instead of the Attitude Era, middle of DX, when they were really doing their, it's not what they have before he left, the kiddie antics. I mean, DX was pretty badass, shall I say. So, the other attire is probably going to be that version, the younger version of Shawn Michaels, the sort of version we saw in Legends of WrestleMania. But I just found it interesting that the DX one wasn't the unlockable one, it's actually going to be the default one, and it's probably going to be the younger Shawn Michaels, which is going to be unlockable. Just something I thought was quite intriguing. And then, of course, we have the Superstar side. Again, in no specific order, we've got the Big Show, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. I find that one quite interesting. Didn't think he was a big enough name to be in there, but I'll keep going. John Cena, obviously. John Morrison, Sheamus, The Miz, The Undertaker, Edge, Jack Swagger, Kane, Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, and Triple H. The only one that really took me by surprise was Drew McIntyre. Out of all the characters on here, except for Kofi Kingston, all of them have been world champions, except for, of course, Kofi Kingston and Drew McIntyre. But Kofi's got a big following with the younger crowd. The kids love him. So I can understand him being in the game. But I found it quite intriguing to have Drew McIntyre. I didn't think he would be in there. Not saying that he isn't a bad wrestler or anything, but his gimmick is literally, I'm angry and I'm Scottish. That is literally just his character. I don't know, it's just, I guess, yeah. But it's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 characters again, which makes the roster at the very start of the game to be 30. Which is about half of what SmackDown vs Raw has. I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep going on about it, but I don't generally see the point in this video game. I really don't. I don't understand its existence. But that's just me. I'm a troll, I guess. And then, of course, we have the downloadable content. A couple of episodes ago, I did a very big rant on DLC. We all know how that turned out. We shall not get into it again. But let's just go through some of the characters you can download. You will be able to download Legends and Superstars in no specific order. You can download Big Boss Man, Chris Jericho, Jerry the King Lawler, who's also doing commentary with Jim Ross on the game, in case you were living under a rock and wasn't aware of that. Mark Henry, Michael Hayes, R-Truth, Ted DiBiase Sr. and Ted DiBiase Jr., Dusty Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, and the Road Warriors, Animal and Hawk, also known as the Legion of Doom. The only person that excites me there is, of course, Chris Jericho, because everybody knows I'm a Jericho-holic, because he's awesome, let's be honest. But that's about it, that's the entire roster. So that's 30, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's about 42 characters altogether once all the DLC's been released, roughly. But there is also another thing. Paul Bearer has been confirmed in the game that he won't be playable. This would probably mean that he's going to be Kane or Undertaker's manager, or he could be involved in the story mode or season mode, whatever the fuck it's got. Generally, yeah, that's the only thing I really wanted to report. Surprisingly, this week I don't have a rant. I've had a rant for every episode except for this one. I'm sorry to disappoint you viewers. I feel like I've let you down with no rant. But if you don't have a rant, you don't have a rant, I'm afraid. But yeah, thank you for watching, and of course check out the newest episode of the Supla. It is of course on the Supla YouTube page. You can check out also the stuff at WrestlingTruth.com, home of the Supla, and of course you can check out my own personal films that I make in my own spare time and for university. Some cracking stuff on there, if I do say so myself. I am a little biased. So links should be all over the place, probably there, all over. Probably on my face right now. I'll probably put one on my face, but I probably won't, to be honest. that would be a little cheesy. But anyway, yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and I shall of course see you probably on the next episode of the Supla. If not that, then the next episode of this, and if not that. And I will be doing a review of this game at some point. I should mention that. I want to see if they can prove me wrong by because I've been saying I hate this game. I want to see if they can prove me wrong. I genuinely do. But until next time, goodbye.